Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Tour de Force. I'm back, and I'm going to start something new here, which is I call Music Making 101 or something along those lines. I haven't decided the title yet, but the idea is that you will follow me on a journey while we explore different kind of musical genres. You might hear my thought process, or if I'm really in the zone, I will not talk much and I'm going to let the music do itself. And you can see when I'm looking for sounds. But if it takes just too long, I will edit out the time and just get straight to the meat and make the video a little bit more streamlined. So here we go. So the most common question I always get from anybody that says, "Oh, you're a music producer. What kind of music do you make?" I always have a hard time answering that question. And I always follow back with, well, I like all kinds of music, but I'm not so much into pop. But I do pop music now because of, well, unfortunately, the cookie cutter. The work load is a lot less stressful. You just follow like a pie chart and you have your formula and then you just write the music after that. But I think we're going to start off with one of my favorite music genres, and that happens to be fusion music. And fusion music was something that was conceived by Miles Davis. He wanted to fuse jazz music with other genres of music, especially rock music. And that's why we have bands like the Brecker Brothers, Dave Veckel, you have T-Square, Chick Corea. All of these people, actually Chick Corea played with Miles Davis for quite a long time, and also Herbie Hancock. And I think it's one of those styles that are open for, like, it can go anyway. It can become dramatic, it can be dreamy, it can be jazzy, and we can use all of these qualities to create something cool. And one of my favorite soundtracks is actually Outrun, the game, and that was basically just fusion Latin music mixed together as one. And I thought, let's try to write some music, some fusion music. I don't know which genres I'm going to cross yet, but there's definitely going to be some jazz, maybe some funk and some rock. Funk, rock, jazz. That sounds good to me. So let's try to find a good tempo, and I would like to create it like it's kind of like a live band. So the first I do, well, this is not a rule, but I like to build up the rhythm section first, so we have like a natural pulse to groove against. So let's start with some shakers. So let's go to example groove menus here. I really like, this is an old kind of VST here, but it serves its purpose. Like, it's really REX files that you use in like Dr. Rex. So it is very fluid in many different tempos. So I like that accent. And a tempo of 94. That can be kind of funky. Let's just drop it in here. A pre-count of 4. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to use some of my shortcuts. And you may not be able to see it outside, but onto my left side, I have a Stream Deck. And I have made some shortcuts that will allow me to maybe put everything on the same velocity level, so it sounds more like a mechanical computer idea, like if you were using trackers back in the 1990s. But in this case, I'm just going to press a button that will make it legato, meaning it will try to connect this long note all the way to the end without missing a retrigger. So it sounds like an unbroken loop. So that's the main idea. Okay, for this now, since I have a natural shaker going on here, let's find a nice keyboard and maybe even try out some melodies to this tempo. Mark 1, that's the one I'm looking for. Let's start with a standard. Oh, wow. So maybe I do the chords first and then we do the melody later with a saxophone or something. So here's the idea. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Actually, we're going to make it 8 bars. And I would like to keep this thing kind of flowy, so it's not quantized. I want it to be like a real piano player. So let's call this Fusion 1. Who might know? We come back to maybe another Fusion song later down the line. Okay, now we'd like to have maybe some drums. On that. I think bass should be the next thing to do. Let's color code it. In my world, I like to keep percussions on the top there and make the EP blue. And then Control Save. Command save on Mac. All right. Now bass. Of course, we're gonna have a bass, but not like a funk bass, but more like a finger fusion bass. A round sound. It's like trying out many different kind of bass lines to feel which one is like. Let's do a bass one first, and then we have it do more advanced stuff later. So like a band member would do first. Let's not overcomplicate things in the beginning. So let's do with a pop bass first. Since bass is with B, let's go with brown. And I didn't like that note very much. Now people would say, let's go with the guitar. And of course, this is always hard to do on keyboards, but please bear with me. This is a process that people may need to know. I mean, this is like the killer rhythm guitarist if I ever had to get one for this kind of genre. This is so cool. It's made by a Danish company. But what I'm first going to do here, I'm just going to erase everything, like clear. Let's make it empty, please. And grooves, empty. I don't want to have any prerequisite. We're just going to look at the chords right now. So let's go to map, and we're going to filter it to MIDI. And here's a cool thing. So we have a recording button here. It will only record the notes you're going to press in. Since I'm going to try to play it in the same, well, automatically, it's going to give us a small Rhodes piano here. It says an A flat minor 9, and then D flat add 9 on there. I'm going to auto map it. But since we don't have a rhythm groove yet, we're just going to try out some stuff just in time. Let's hear it. And then the next key. I'm not sure about the last chord there, so let's have a look at that. So the D flat, let's hear filter. D flat. Can I get a D flat, please? Add 9. Add 9. This is the most tedious thing. Like, you really have to look for stuff. Add 9. And I have a couple of options. I thought that one's a little bit too high. Let's see if this one does the trick. That's just so as a musician, you should try to get to the closest note as possible, so it sounds more natural. But here's like the guy plays in the bottom and then he jumps up too high. That didn't sound good either. Let's try this one. No, that's 4th fret. How about the 8th fret? Sounds possible, but I guess that one is the closest to what's being played then, so yep, I think this is the one. Okay, let's try that. 2, 3, 4, insert blank here, and let's try to get it on the same velocity as the other guy. So yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is try to EQ. So right now the EP and the bass are kind of close to each other. Why did I write EP there? It's drums. Let's get the EP. Even though the bass is playing lower down, but I don't really like when it goes down. It's kind of outside the normal bass range. So I'm going to see what happens if I just put this up by an octave. Oops. How about an octave up on that? What else do we need? This sounds very 70s funk disco. How about some strings or a synthy dreamy lead somewhere? Now, the thing was, I did not record that until I punched this thing. Retrospective record is king. The thing is, it is actually recorded about 16 bars, but I want to see if I cheated somewhere and lost a note. But I hope I didn't. Yeah, up here, that note, I wanted to be on the next round there. So let's see if I can isolate that and shove it into the beginning of the next bar there. So we're just going to do like that and merge it. There we go. And again, I want to keep the human feel on this thing, so that's why I'm not quantizing it. And there's something about live players that really makes this genre hard to master if you're just going to quantize everything. So let's call that the bubble lead. Actually, I would like to duplicate this track, and let's not have shakers, let's have congas. Yeah, that's the right thing there, right there. Right, let's add the congas. 1, 2, 3. And now I only do it for one bar because this is my favorite trick in the book. I will press my legato button, and it should have got itself exactly here. And now I just want to do it so I have the same length as the shakers. That means I can rearrange this thing easy as possible. Let's put the drums on the top. And the more rhythm elements that come in after the song, we'll just stack them up underneath. And the other thing I like to do is put the bass next, then the EP, actually the funk guitar. The funk guitar now, since it's more like a wooden, like original guitar is made out of wood, I have a little more like a, if this is dark orange, then this is more wooden orange/yellow. EP, it's okay. Now synth lead, I would keep it like more like high blue. It reminds me of a laser saber. So I know it's more analog than it really is. So we're not thinking too much about mixing at this moment. So my voice is popping up here, so it doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, so it kind of like these fusion songs usually have long, moody introductions just to get you into the mood. But for the next part, we're just going to kill the guitar. So we're just going to put a guitar stop. So that's the thing. Every VST instrument is different. So you need to learn it inside and out because it's always frustrating if you don't know how to handle it. So always know your key zone ranges. So we're just going to put in a kill command 4. So that means when I program the next part here now, I won't have the guitar playing all the time. So now I just want to be a little bit inspired. So maybe again, let's just put the shakers and the congas. Or maybe I'll let the bass lead this time. But still, those are the same chords. So let's It's a bit of like a Marcus Miller thing, maybe. I have to be very careful when I play this bass. If I'm too close, or if I play too hard, I will get that slide. So it's almost like I'm playing using tap fingers there. And again, I want to have that little pickup there unquantized. So yeah, you should not really quantize everything. So in this case, it's like 99% quantized. But the effect is that I want that little slide up to happen. And they almost happened at the same time. It's almost like, in drum language, you call this a flam. But let's see what happens when we just listen to it. So again, trying to get into the vibe what a piano player would play in this case. And I'm not a gospel guy, so don't worry. Punch in. Yeah, punch in would do with the I here. So yeah, that's the thing. Cubase 12, if you know one sequencer, you kind of know them all. And usually the language is universal, except for maybe a few commands here and there. But for Cubase, there are many cool ways to input stuff when you want to get ready. And for now, it's like, if you're doing like a live recording, you want to jam with the other track before your take comes in. So having it record, I'm showing you with the arrow here, down here, it means you're going to start recording from the left locator. Or if I press I, it's off. If I press I, now it's on. So you have some time to jam and get into the mood from the previous take, and suddenly you're now in the new take, and it's going to sound similar to what you played before, right? So let's have fun with it. Nice. All right. Let's get the drums. And again, the drums should try to accent those last that up, that up. Okay, I think I found my grips here. Let's do it. And that little boom, I'll let that one be free. So now the guitar then. I have an idea. I'm going to use a different guitar. And we're going to make it more like a guitar playing long strokes now instead of just cutting through. So again, let's go with maybe Contact 7 this time around. Okay, so now I can decide what I would like to do with it. So I'm going to put it into maybe rhythm. Since I would like to play a little bit higher up. And the thing about, of course, with fusion music, there's like no rules. So I could play maybe folk guitar style here, but through a jazz chorus, It's like, let's call it finger style. Guitar, make it body brown again. And let's find a nice little amp. It sure has its own stuff in here too, but I always like it dry. So let's go with Guitar Rig 6. Whoa. There's a bit of Max Payne in there. Yeah, some lo-fi vibes. Nah, it's not gonna work, is it? I don't think so. It's too brutal. Yeah, too much of a guitar. Wait a minute. We got some cinematics. I think it's something called slow-mo movie. Slow motion. I think this could be the one. Yeah, this is the one for sure. Now I feel we're gonna need to bring in a live session player. Me. So okay, so now it comes the magic of EWI. EWI stands for Electronic Wind Instrument, and is basically another way of transmit MIDI data, but using breath control. But this is not for everybody. If you can't play the recorder, you can pick up an EWI, but still, there is a learning curve to it. But just like with the recorder, there are no moving parts. I just want to make sure I can see myself technically. So yeah, if I hold it like this is all touch sensors. But on the other side, we have many other controls like octaves, and then we have touch plates and a neutral grounding plate here. Well, these allows me to like pitch things down or assign an effect like a flutter to a flute or anything what I would like to do. But usually instrument scoops, especially saxophone, since I'm a saxophone player originally. But coming to Japan, keep up with my saxophone playing through very thin walls has never been in my favor. So that's why I reconsidered to let this be my main instrument of choice wherever I go now these days. Plus, I always have a great microphone setup already made, and it's in the computer. So it's perfectly mic'd, and I can be anyone or anything. And in this case, I would like to be maybe a soprano sax player. So let's have a look at that. And now it's time to bring word to my sponsor of this product, which is Audio Modeling and their Swarm engine. And as you can see, we have many, many choices. But right now, I would like to give you we're going 90s fusion right now. We need a little bit of, well, I'm not telling you Kenny G quality style, but we're going into using a soprano. But let me first set it up for you. So first thing you have to do is maybe blow in the controller or touch it somehow and set it up so it corresponds with what I have, which is an EWI, Electric Wind Instruments by Akai. And now we have access to a lot of stuff. But the first thing I would like to fix first is the pitch bend down. That's a bit too steep for me. It's going to be a full note down, basically 2 semi-steps. And then I would like to have the breathy PPP, which is piano pianissimo. And if I could turn my mic off, you will be able to hear the instrument itself generating just air if I play absolutely quiet here. So there you have it. And if I turn it off, I will not get this effect. Just a little, but I don't get the piano pianissimo style here. Okay, that's the first thing. The other thing I do take away is the inbuilt reverb. It's pretty much set up for anyone who wants to play live straight away out of the box, so it's no problem. But since I'm trying to replicate that I'm actually in a live band here, we're going to put it in a kind of a room reverb slide We call it the brass, plate brass. Okay, a little bit of Spain. Never goes wrong. But let's set the mix. And the EQ is already set up with this perfect range already. So, and the cool thing about why do I choose a soprano? Because this thing is straight and it feels like a soprano the way I would have played it. So basically, I've been playing at the music school. I started with the alto, then I graduated to a tenor, and then I got myself a soprano, and a big band. I got to play the baritone, and all these saxes. I mean, that's the thing about saxophones. If you can play saxophone, one saxophone, you can play every saxophone. And there's always something about saxophone players I notice. We are very much into it all. But let's check out the different sopranos. So right now, this was a standard flat. I wonder what they mean by that, but maybe it's just like the tone. But here we have something just called sax 1. And you also hear the key noise in the background when I use the thing. So let me bring it up so you can hear it more. A bit of classical music there. All right. Next one. So sax 1 is a lot warmer than sax 1 bright. Yeah, this one is kind of recording the dead. Well, it's not really a recording. What this is a physics modeling instrument which allows, by pure math, think about the vibrations inside this instrument and how it's constructed, we have managed to replicate a real sounding soprano saxophone. And this comes from myself as a soprano saxophone player. I was blown away because now I don't need to bring 4 or 5 saxophones with me when I go out on stage. I can bring my entire brass band here now. And I would probably use this one in a different setting, maybe like folk music. Sax 1 warm. Yeah, I think this is going to be the one I would like to use. But I would like to play more with the room reverb here now. Let's program that. So we assign it. I press here and press learn. Now I'm going to touch on the upper plate of my EV. And the thing is that when you buy this EV, you get a control program that has its own little audio player if you just want to try it out. But inside that one, I can decide what control number I want this plate to respond to. Right now, you see it responds to growl. Extremely expressive, this thing. But I want to try a different section. Oh yeah, another thing before we continue. So when I first got it, it was because my other EWI, an old Yamaha WX11, which had like real buttons on it, and since it was more acted as a virtual saxophone, it was also set up as a saxophone, so you also had like a thumb hook on it. But then switching over to this one, I thought there was this thumb support, just like a saxophone, but I realized I was playing half tune out of key and everything. So your deal is that you really have to rely on your strap and make sure your thumb is between these two plates, and then you will be in key. I want to see what happens with the overblow here. Yep, like with a real saxophone, if you overblow when you're down low, you get the overtone series. But for this, we don't need it. Breath noise. Yeah, we need some more aggressive. Yeah, what happened there was my thumb slipped. So better have both hands on this thing when you do sound checks. Key noise can come down a little bit. Let's try again. So now I'm going to introduce you a new function in Cubase 12. Well, it's not new, it's old. But for newcomers, this is a very good one. So set up video recording modes. We can do this. I can just play I can stack as much as I want without hearing what I did previously. So we're going to have stacked. New parts are created in each cycle, but only the last one is played back. Others are muted. That means I don't need to start and stop. I can just do as many takes as I want until I'm satisfied. Here we go. And I love that one. So that's a great tool. And again, thanks again to my sponsors, the Soprano Sax by Audio Modeling. You guys are amazing, and you just won an award for a new BD plug. So I'm very happy to be part of that. All right, we're saving here. So let's see what we got. And maybe we add one more Swamp thing here as well. And now, of course, since a saxophonist uses his lips to create the vibrato, of course, you don't do that as a flutist. You are doing that with your diaphragm, with your stomach, with your lungs, with your breath. And therefore, I would like to make this one a little more exotic sounding. And again, I will place it with a different reverb. And here we go. We're going to take a similar reverb. But this time, I would like to have it more bigger and grand. Maybe a cathedral. Mr. Bond, I've been expecting you. Let's just play around and have a little bit of fun with it. let's do some of the Quincy Jones stuff here. Here's another thing. Let's get us some flutter. So again, same thing. Touch learn, touch the instrument, and there's our flutter. What it allows me to do is to just but if you have the technique in your tongue, which I do, is also you can do it inside your mouth. So you could do it if you just give yourself some training. It's hard to do in a sax, but it's not impossible. So this is kind of a new technique, but that's something we can do. But to make it easier for us, we can assign it to a flutter. But I also feel this style jazz is kind of constrained, so we're going to bring it up to ethnic. Let's put full key noise here. So let's try to get this 1970s Boney M. Quincy Jones thing. I think it was pretty good on the second half there, so I was gonna take it off for now. All right, let's listen. Let's keep in the pink. Yeah, welcome to Midnight Radio. Let's get the guitar some reverb too. Now, this one opened up for new ideas that dag up might be a style change. Oh yeah, I feel a style change coming. So if all of this was the intro, maybe now the song will begin. So let's bring we're going into weather report. Now I'm gonna go back to that MIDI thing and make it all normal mix. Starts to sound like a snarky puppy track. Let's have a look. There's a double. Now it's time for us to maybe check the kit. Funk kit. Okay, here we go. And now, of course, now Fusion is also famous for just bringing synthesizers all the time. So let's make it like a Breaker Brothers kind of cool, old school pad kind of thing, or a polysynth. So there's polysynth type analog classic, maybe. like something really abstract. Getting there. Almost there. Oh, I think we're getting there. This is why it's so important to be creative. I never heard anything like this before. Ooh, there we go. That also works. There's a lot of cool little stuff you can do here. Let's get rid of that delay, and I think we're good on this one. I think this could work in a guitar too. Let me check that first. Guitar. I don't like the G flat here, so I would like to go there. Filter. Let's try this one. Okay, here we go. So basically, what you got here is a little bit of how I deal with things. And of course, I could go on with this one forever. And maybe in the future, this could be a full song. But for tonight, I think that pretty much covers the basis. And again, I would like to thank Audio Modeling for their amazing Swarm software. And in this case, I was using the Soprano Sax version 3 and the Bass Flute version 3. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good evening, everyone.